Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're going to check the update and more or less what we're going to receive throughout the month. So, let's start with Spinel. Spinel has been released. She can be purchased if you want, which I do not recommend. These packs are not that good. And we still... I'm not going to be able to do a video just yet about her, because I'm going to wait for her to be released with gems. If you want to do that, just like myself, I suggest that you instead, if you want to spend money, buy a character pack once your character reaches level 85. You just use your gems, your crystals, and all your materials to level up your character, and once they reach level 87, you can buy the pack to level them up one more time, and you use the crystals to buy that character, to buy Spinel. And that's a better option than buying this pack. Then, we have the gacha. On the gacha we have White, which is a blue supporter that has a 30% chance to increase damage against human enemies for 5 seconds when hitting an enemy. This goes up to 60% and it stacks up to 5 times. We don't know how much the damage increase is. If it's like 5%, it wouldn't be that good because it would be a 25% damage increase when maxed out. On the other hand, if it's a 10% damage increase, that would be okay because it would be a 50% damage increase when maxed out. It also has a passive that disarms enemies for 3 seconds when hit while HP is below 20% every 20 seconds. Horrible, because at 20% you are probably going to get KO on challenging content. So this is definitely not for challenging content. On dailies, on other stages, it is okay-ish because you get a chance to just hit the enemies for a while you just while you're about to die, and maybe you can recover your HP with one of your skills. Then the active emits poison in front, dealing a continuous damage of, let's say, 640% when maxed out. Reduces damage dealt by the opponents by 15% for 5 seconds. So the active is also not that good because the damage reduction is very low. And if it says deals a continuous damage, I think it's kind of the poison wave from the snake weapons. So yeah, White, the best character that you can put this into are range attackers, and especially fast range attackers like Emily. She's probably going to get the most mileage out of this. So yeah, it is not super good, but it is another option for blue to deal damage against humans. So we'll see how much the damage increase later once someone collects the data, and depending on that, it may be worth it or not. Then we have the Desire Shop. On the Desire Shop we have White, but we also have Red Reindeer for Spinel, the custom for her release. So yeah, this is probably going to be re-released later in the future, just like where is it? Just like this, in the form of a limited pack, which doesn't offer good value. And after that, once Spinel gets the rework, it will probably be re-released there. Do I recommend that you get it or not? Well, if you like it, why not? But there's some things that you need to take into consideration. We're gonna have some other things coming to the Desire Shop this month, so I suggest that you wait. We're gonna tackle those in a moment, but first, let's go to the next one. Yeah, Spinel Gacha. So on Spinel's Gacha, we have the Momochi weapon, nothing impressive, the Momochi effects, and we also have the character weapon, Crimson Executioner. This has a passive that increases speed by 5%, which goes up to 10%. Pretty nice. It is not good. 20% would be good, but it is okay to have as a passive. It also deals damage and disarms the enemy for 5 seconds. So it is not a bad weapon. It is not super good, but it's not bad. It gives you speed increase and it also disarms. Two effects that you surely want on a weapon, but it's just about that. If it was a higher speed increase, it would be amazing, but we never get an amazing effect on the first weapon of a character. It's just okay to use. Now, let's see. After that, we have Christmas customs. Throughout the month, we're going to receive more Christmas customs. I hope that they are good. We have a very wide selection of these. And probably, we're going to receive a ticket to pick up one of those customs. We also have 10 runs available for daily quests, event quests, and also extra arena coins. I think I'm gonna take advantage of the arena coins because I'm running low on those. If you spend gems, which this month you might spend gems, you're gonna get 30 gems. We had a dismantling weapon and dismantling supporter mission. I already did the weapon one. We have an event mission, complete event stages, which gives Crimson Cake, which is good. It is good. Then we have what else? Let me check around here. Yes, but later. First, the event. We have an event, standard event which gives tickets, has bonus stage, and also it has Santa Princess Anemone. She's a green supporter which with high HP and low defense. It is very high, I think the highest that we have, but it is really bad. So don't bother with her. I mean, just get her just to have this supporter, and that's it. What's the passive? It reduces HP restoration by 20% for 10 seconds when hitting a debuff enemy every 12 seconds. Okay, and the gift, the active says the gift box dropped from the sky explodes, dealing damage. It forms a spider web around the explosion for 6 seconds, reducing the speed of the enemy by 10%. So, okay, let's start analyzing why this is so bad. We don't have enemies which abuse HP restoration. That's one of the main problems here. If we had some kind of vampiric enemy which abuses HP restoration, then it would be okay, especially on challenging content, but we don't. So there's no need to use this. I mean, even in PvP, yeah, there's people who do HP restoration, but it's not that big of a deal in most cases if you know how to deal with it. So yeah, let's see. Other than that, we have the crystal kit at the very end. Nothing special. Then we have these ones. We have an event shop which you use gingerbread men to buy things. There's a bunch of good things. The gingerbread cookies, you get them by completing stages, any kind of stages. The most notable things that you should get are the gems, the crystal fragments, the elemental and orb kit, the friend emblem pack, the gacha coins, all the gacha coins. By this stage, we should be getting 5 instead of 3. 5 rotation and 5 normal. 3 limited is fine. I know that they have to be exclusive and such. I mean, the more the merrier, the more the better. But yeah, 3 is fine. Then we have enchant boosters, 10%. They are not like super broken. I mean, they could give us 10 and it wouldn't be that much of a difference. But they are acceptable. When you're on stage 13, 14 of enchantment, you want to use this. On the last one, you want to use the 100% just to max out your supporters. Then we have a dismantling device. Very good. Get them. We don't get too many of these unless you buy the golden pass, which we're gonna see in a moment. Then we have a voucher for a weapon. We're gonna analyze that at the very end, and it is very important. Don't skip that part, please. We have the lobby, which I already have. You just saw it. And if you already have it, then it's gold. We have an icon, a gingerbread icon which moves the hands. It's animated. And this, which doesn't count, and you should get. Other than that, yeah, the golden pass. Golden pass as usual with everything in place. Nothing weird like with Murasaki's Daki's skin. And yeah, we have the Christmas costume, the Nutcracker costume for Kurenai. If you like it, you can get it. It's there for you. Buy a price, you know? So yeah, the good thing about the Golden Pass is that even if you don't buy it, which I am going to, you get some platinum tickets, which you can get a UR supporter from this. Please do the supporter. The weapons are not necessary. It's best to just roll for the limited character packs on the limited character gacha and just use an arena weapon on the sub slot. We have almost finished. Yeah. Well, there's a couple more things. Starting with two supporters that are coming up this month. We have Rinko and Ingrid. Christmas Rinko, Christmas Ingrid. Ingrid is going to increase the damage of assist type characters and reduce damage taken by 26% when max out, 13 on one copy. So it is okay. It's not busted. I mean, now is better at that, but now is restrictive. When Rinko, she's also restrictive. She can only be used on assist type characters, but she can be used on any kind of stage. So yeah, it is acceptable. You may get it. It's not that big of a deal. And she has a passive which drops one green gift box and has a probability of 30% when attacked. So when you get attacked, there's a 30% chance that you drop this and it reduces damage taken for 5 seconds and gives super armor. Not that impressive. Let's say that max out is 60%, even so, not that impressive. Present drop, and it doesn't even say how much the damage reduction is. That's a problem. The other one, present drops on nearby enemies, dealing knockback attack and 480% of damage. That would be what, like 960% when max out, and a gift box drops that replenishes HP and particles. So yeah, HP restoration is nice, but I don't think the active is that worth it. The passive is something that you may take into consideration, but it's not super good. And then we have Holy Knight Ingrid, which has critical rate of protect type characters increased by 16%. That would be 32% when max out. Inflicts hellfire on nearby enemies for 10 seconds when attacked every 15 seconds. This is okay. I don't like the same as Rinko being restricted, but it is a nice effect, increasing your critical rate. Unfortunately, it is not good for VR. You would use this on most content. I wish we receive some kind of challenging content which we can create on, so that we can do crit builds once again. And let's see. Passive. Drop one blue gift box at a probability of 20% when performing a basic melee attack. Okay. That would be 40% when max out. Even so, it's not like super great. But what does the box do? Damage deal increase for 5 seconds plus super armor. Damage deal is better than defense, than damage reduction. Well, obviously depends on content. Sometimes you need both, but I prefer damage increase. And well, yeah, not that great. Plants a gift box that opens after a certain amount of time. When it opens, it deals knockback attack of 530. That would be 1060 damage. And a gift box drops that replaces HP. Yeah, the passive is okay. The active not so much. So yeah, we're gonna receive these two throughout the month, and they are probably going to be available on the Desire shop. That's why I told you not to spend your Desire just yet. They are similar to Witch2 in that they are treated as limited but also not. They are only available when it's the corresponding season. Sue in October and the Rinko and Ingrid in December. So yeah, you can get them there, but you roll for them with these gacha coins, with the normal gacha coins. So yes, and also Sue was available for Desire, so these two are probably going to be also available for Desire. This is just a speculation, but we have good basis to speculate it that way, to think that that's going to be the case. And there's also one more thing. Character Emily. So Emily is going to receive a new skin. It's not available just yet, and she has a new hairstyle. She can take off the hat. She has different colors, and she gets the underwear, I guess, whatever that is. Yeah, but the skin is, I mean, it's gonna be a seasonal pack similar to, I don't know, let's see here, similar to Kirara's Christmas costume, similar to Shiranui's New Year costume, where you get the costume, weapon, and a supporter. So what is going to be the weapon and the supporter? Let's check. So the supporter, unfortunately, it's pretty bad. There's just one redeemable quality about this, but let's see. Reduce the duration of debuffs or stuns on you by 10%. I mean, the best use the best thing you can do with this is use it on Queen Arachne's VR stage. But even so, 20% when maxed out, it's not good enough. 30% I would think about, but even 40% is like I'm still doubting it. Debuff duration reduction is not that good. We don't have like too many bosses that super abuse debuffs. At the moment we start receiving this is gonna be better, like enemies that debuff you constantly. But right now we don't, so this is not good just yet. It also has increased critical rate on all attacks, 11%. That goes to 22%. Not too good actually. I mean, if it was 30%, it would be more alike to other supporters that we have had. It is pretty low, number one. Number two, it's critical rate, not critical damage. So you have the chance to crit, but usually on standard content, you already are going to have kind of guaranteed crits if you enchant your weapons and if you have good supporters. But on VR, you're not going to crit. So yeah, the critical rate is just wasted on VR. Even though the debuff duration reduction might be useful for Queen Arachne. Then we have a passive on the active that increases fortitude of all characters by 5 seconds, for 5 seconds by 25%. Let's say that goes up to 50% when HP is below 20%. Activates once per battle. So there are a bunch of bad things on this one. Once per battle, okay. Not great, but I'll allow it. Then a 50% increase of fortitude. What does this do again? Like, you nullify damage or what? I don't get what's fortitude. Like, resistance against ailments? Is that it? Against debuffs? Well, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, activating at 20% HP, no, that's just not appealing, just like white. They shouldn't do this kind of condition. 50%, 70% activation requirement, HP for activation requirement, that would be acceptable. Because when you're at 20%, you may get killed in one blow. It is not a good idea to do that requirement. I mean, then we have reduce damage taken by allies by 25% and restore particles of the characters by 22% for 15 seconds by cleansing spirits. That's going to be 50% and this is going to be 44% when max out. The active is not bad actually. Pretty good. It's every 59 seconds, like a whole minute, but it's a huge damage reduction, like amazing. If it had a shorter cooldown, this wouldn't be that bad. But unfortunately, it has a whole minute of cooldown, and these effects which you are not going to take advantage of on most situations. So it is not great. Then we have the weapon. The weapon actually is pretty good. Do get it. It's amazing. Let's see. Weapon. So, what does this do? Every 50 combos increases damage of all allies for 8 seconds by 2%. And it stacks up to 6 times. Let's say that when it's maxed out, it's 4%. That's going to be 24% more damage for all your allies. And every 50 combos is not a difficult requirement to achieve because of Emily's fast normal attacks. So yeah, that's going to be super good. Then, when hit by melee attack, angels will blow their trumpets and deal 90% damage to surrounding enemies, knocking them back and giving allies super armor for 4 seconds every 10 seconds. So this is not going to be useful on challenging content, but on daily content, this is going to allow you to easily farm without getting interrupted. So it is pretty good. Yeah, I do suggest getting the weapon, and usually we are able to get the weapon easily. So another thing, whenever we get this, usually the supporter one of the copies can be get by buying it on the Desire shop, which is another reason why I tell you not to buy Spinel just yet. You have until January 8th, so wait just a little bit, believe me. It is very unfortunate. I mean, from all the things that are available on Desire shop, I think none of them are like super good. If you want the Spinel one, it is fine, but definitely the most redeemable quality about the Emily supporter is her active, which you don't need copies to max out. So yeah, that's a thing. Lastly, let's go to this part. We have to talk about the weapons. The weapons are very special. They all give the same have the same ability. Damage against demon type enemies increased by 15%, and damage taken from demon type enemies decreased by 15%. That's going to be 30% when maxed out. The active inflicts 500% range damage to all enemies and freezes them for 5 seconds. The freeze effect, it's not good but not bad. It literally freezes the enemy, making them unable to move. But once they receive any damage instance, they're going to be able to move once again. But that damage instance is going to be doubled. So yeah, especially on solo content, this is great because you can just activate it and then use your most powerful skill, dealing double damage. Pretty good. Now, the main quality of this is definitely the demon damage increase and damage reduction. So we have weapons for Astaroth, Noah, Ingrid, and Murasaki. Don't get Astaroths because Astaroth already have her VR weapon, which I just recently maxed out here. That's gonna be 40% damage increase and damage reduction, as well as another effect. So there's no point in actually buying that one specifically. If you want the skin, yeah, you may get it for the skin, but I do recommend that you get Murasaki's. Actually, this is the exact order of priority that you should get them. First Murasaki, then Ingrid, then Noah. Let's just start with Noah. Noah is not that great. She has good HP recovery. If you want to use her as a taunter, it wouldn't be that bad of an option. You just put a bunch of damage reduction supporters on her and a little bit of HP recovery, and she may tank. She can be a decent taunter. And then we have Ingrid. Ingrid is great for damage, but the problem with Ingrid is that she doesn't have HP recovery at all. So you need to rely on your supporters. And if people like to use Noah, the character release supporter Noah on Ingrid to make a blue build, but it's very limited. Not everyone has it maxed out, and you don't get to activate the passive effect most of the time. So yeah, Ingrid is a difficult pick. If you pilot her, if you're using Felicia on your team, yeah, you can use this. But the one that I recommend the most is definitely Murasaki. I just made a video on her. Easy to use, super tanky, excellent counter, great debuffs. I mean, just get the reindeer. I already did. I rolled last time we had this because I wanted to get the here. I got this and Murasaki's. Where is Murasaki's? And this. I got those three because Murasaki's text was different. She had like higher numbers, and I was and I thought that it would be like that, but no, it didn't. In any case, the important thing about the weapon is that I already have it at S2 thanks to the ticket, and it's gonna be super useful if you can get it. She's gonna be kind of let's see. For Queen Arachne, there's gonna be this is not Queen Arachne, but for Queen Arachne, there's gonna be 4 characters that you can use. First, Astaroth, because she has the VR weapon. Then we have Murasaki, thanks to the Christmas weapon. Then Felicia, because healing, kind of necessary. And there was one more. Yes. Where is she? Shiranui. Shiranui, because she also has a VR weapon. Those are like the best 4. But also, I mentioned that you can use Noah. You can use Ingrid. And those 2 are it. I really don't recommend those 2. But if you already invested on them, if they are already maxed out, then yeah, sure, why not? And that's about it, guys. So please be careful with your resources this month. There's really no reason to roll hard just yet, and even with the upcoming Christmas seasonal supporters that I just mentioned, Rinko and oh, what's the name? And Ingrid, there's still a lot of time. They are not that great. They are not that great, so it's not definitely something you should worry about. One more thing. Remember that we're going to be receiving the copies of the weapon and the supporter throughout different means. I mean, Emily's weapon and supporter throughout different means. Maybe it's going to be weekly missions. Maybe it's going to be campaigns. Maybe it's going to be desired, as I mentioned. Maybe also arena store. By the way, I recorded this once, but I got disconnected because my internet started to fail. But there was a crystal kit here, just so that you know, buy it. So we may get a weapon here on the arena, and that's it, I think. Yeah, and also we may get a copy on the next event that we get. Usually they add a copy of the weapon on stage 10 of the event. So yeah, we're gonna see that in 2 weeks, and we'll be. I guess I don't think they're gonna release it just yet, but maybe they will. So we'll see each other soon. Bye.